the headline: ChatGPT to destroy Google in minimum 2 years, says Gmail creator. I mean,
It's pretty strong.
That's a pretty strong headline. Gmail's creator Paul Bouchette took to Twitter recently to share his opinion on the artificial intelligence bot ChatGPT created by OpenAI, which we just reported on our last segment that Microsoft just dropped $10 billion investment into OpenAI, as he expressed his fear that it may replace Google. Now, I mean, I posted this almost immediately when I got a taste of chat, right? I posted on the Facebook group. I mean, just using ChatGPT, if you've used it and you're like, you want a piece of information, the experience is so much nicer going to ChatGPT than Google. Bouchette said that the search engine giant may be destroyed. I love that word, destroyed, by the new AI bot in the next 2 years. The most profitable application of Google, which is search, can soon get replaced by the tool of OpenAI, he stated. And I have to say, I'm a technologist, a 20-year technology professional. That is exactly what my experience is. And that's what I've been saying. What do you think?
I could probably argue both sides of it, but so OpenAI, I mean, eventually at some point, they're going to have to figure out a way to make money. So if they're a subscription-based model, are people willing to pay for a subscription? Maybe they would be.
I mean, it's going to go ad supported, even if they do
display ads or something. They can
banner
do that.
ads. I mean,
would that hurt the integrity of the results, or would people think it would hurt the integrity of the results? I don't know. If you are searching what's the most highly rated pizza joint in Southington or something, if you're searching that, are you going to trust the answer from ChatGPT? Just like when you search Google and the first 3 results are ads.
So not to be an devil's advocate, but I'm not being a fanboy, but I am kind of excitable about this right now. And I cut you off. I'm sorry, but they could easily have ChatGPT say in the first paragraph, the following is a sponsored suggestion by Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza is blah, blah, blah. You got 3 sentences, right? And then the next is your organic, which is, this is what we found on the web. Here's the source. That's the thing that I'm surprised they're not doing. ChatGPT's responses don't weave in sourcing. I wish that was like a checkbox, or I guess you can ask it, cite your sources, but it seems to me that they should have some functionality there where they're citing your sources, the sources of information. I have the weirdest banner ad open. Oh God, it was like a fungus toenail thing. But I mean, they could totally replicate the Google model. It's just in spoken language. The following is paid is a paid advertisement for the following companies. Here, this is what we found on the internet, and these are the sources. Then add banner, then had affiliate links. I mean, the revenue model is going to be the same. I don't think it's going to go purely subscription. Although there is some chatter in the rumor mill that they're already looking at some pro subscription for it.
Right, because it's expensive for them to run, right? Every search is, what they say, a penny and a half or something like that.
10 cents. Was it penny? I thought it was 10 cents a search. I thought they were running, which is crazy. Just in computing power.
Yeah, it is. And that's why you have Google and those type of companies that are investing so heavily in energy, right? Because they want to, they've got their own fusion tests that they're running, and they're going down that path too, because energy has become such a big cost input for them.
So coming back to destroying Google, what do you think? ChatGPT takes out Google in 2 years?
I don't think so. I don't think Google would go down without a fight. I mean, if they wanted to tomorrow come up with Google Chat or something like that, they could make those results look like conversational, just like you said, way. So I think you're going to end up with something probably in the middle.
But where does the innovator's dilemma come in? What do you think about that?
Yeah. So tell me what your innovator's dilemma is.
So the innovator's dilemma is that you've succeeded, your company or product. I don't know if my video is working. Are you still there?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. My video is buggy or not working. Okay, there it is. The innovator's dilemma. I think that's the term. Am I saying that right? You've heard of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like to cut off your own source of revenue stream. That idea.
Yeah, the innovator's dilemma. Um, Hopefully, I do this justice. I'm not going to look for an source, but the innovator's dilemma is your current market product is your bread and butter, and but it's also not future proof.
Mm-hmm.
And the new paradigm is just coming out, and it's in direct conflict with your current business model. How do you make that pivot? And I'll give you a couple of examples. America Online.
Mm-hmm.
America Online sold everyone in America in the 90s a second phone line on behalf of Ma Bell, AT&T, right? So, Mom, get off the phone. I'm online. Remember that?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then so you have AOL selling $30 monthly subscriptions to their online community, which is basically what AOL was. They were an ISP also because you would pay for their connectivity. So you remember the dial-up phone numbers that you would pick. So they were an ISP. They were an online community. But then in 1998, I think the cable companies said, "Oh, we can hook you up to the internet too."
Mm-hmm.
And then, and it's faster, and there's no dial-up. Remember that
Right.
experience?
Oh, sure.
So overnight, this was coming to communities, and AOL was. Remember those discs were everywhere. You were at CVS, you were at Blockbuster. They were just littering the world with these free AOL 9.0 discs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you had all the competitors, and there were a couple of them. Speaking ad-supported model, where instead of doing the subscription, you had that banner ad along the bottom of your PC. Do you remember those? So
for
there was
AOL or for some AOL
no,
like
it
product,
was a competitor, and I'm trying to think
like
of what it was, but
CompuServe or Prodigy. Those are
no, it was later than
precursors.
that because it would have been like early
Oh,
2000.
like Net Zero was Net Zero.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
Net
Net
Zero,
Zero. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So AOL's holding on to their legacy business model where they're an ISP, but they're slow dial up. And then they're also a paid community. Basically, you effectively paid for instant messaging
Mhm.
and email after a while, um, and then the broadband came out, and it was faster, maybe a little more premium, but basically got the same thing done, and they couldn't pivot.
Right.
And what was really fascinating about AOL's history is they went down as like the biggest failed merger or bad call in business history, because they had, just before they went under, so to speak, they merged with Time Warner. Remember the AOL Time
Yeah,
Warner
sure.
merger? And I think that was
It was the
2000 or
largest,
99.
yeah, 2000 largest merger in history. It was 165 billion.
Yeah, crazy,
Funny, I know.
crazy. So that's the innovator's dilemma. What would have AOL had to have done, right? They would have had to buy a telco or start laying fiber or copper as fast as they could to try to compete with the established utility companies, or pivot to, and this is what they ended up doing, was pivot to being basically a website, a web page, to try to garner ad revenue. They did have a search product, but I think when Google came out in 2000, 2001, that quickly eclipsed the likes of Yahoo. I think Yahoo was a search engine initially too, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But I think Yahoo ended up licensing Google search engine somewhere in the mid-aughts.
Yep.
Another innovator's dilemma, Netflix, which they are an example of a successful pivot, where Netflix was a DVD by mail service, and then streaming was coming out, which was clearly going to put the mail service, the physical media service, out of business. And they did manage to make that pivot. So I jumped the track. What was the original?
Well, there is ChatGPT versus Google, and how is
Right.
Google going to adapt to that? I think you'll end up with a product that looks, sort of somewhere in the middle, and might have that chat-like feature, but you'll have banner ads, and you'll have sponsored ads, sponsored responses, if you will.
Right. Will
and you
Google
may,
be will the Google AI be a new web page portal product altogether, or will it be another tab on the Google homepage? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they might end up, so you've got, if you go back to like Netflix and Disney now, you have the paid version or you have the partial paid with ads. So maybe it's something along those lines where it's like, all right, we have our main product, which you can buy for $15 a month, that is no ads, that is fully subscription based, or you can kind of split the difference where maybe it's some ads and your first response is going to be an ad and something like that. So you may end up with a couple different models there, because the subscription model, it's proven to work and people are not averse to ads.
There's going to be an ad supported, like, right? I mean, just because, for no other reason that, like, there's a whole group, there's a whole audience out there that just doesn't have the ambition or means to get a credit card and make subscriptions, right? And I'm talking like 13-year-olds to 17-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they have access to connected devices, but they're gonna fire up somebody's homepage and just go to a website. You know, that they still need to be served, but they're not going to go through that subscription time, I don't think, anyway. So there's
Right.
definitely the internet is ad supported. It's definitely going to be ad supported. It just makes it so approachable with no commitment to that whole group, that whole body of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you may have like an enterprise solution, or
Sure.
the pro or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll probably look something like that. I'm curious to see what OpenAI comes up with. A lot of the times you go there and it's overworked, it's not available, that kind of stuff. So
that's just a scale problem. They'll
Yeah.
take 10 billion of Microsoft's money and Azure infrastructure, and they'll scale that up. Can I tell you one more thing I'm really excited about?
Yeah, go ahead.
ChatGPT. As you know, I have, don't say her name, but I have an Echo appliance, an Amazon Echo appliance in every room in my house, with the exception of, I think, the downstairs bathroom. And that's it. So ChatGPT is exactly what is missing from these smart speakers. And it's not just Amazon, right? Google's got their product.
Yeah.
Amazon's got theirs. Apple just released another version of the HomePod and Siri. This technology is exactly what is missing from that product tool, And I'm waiting for the headline that says Amazon licenses ChatGPT for $100 billion a year to make Amazon Echo more useful.
Yeah. So what's the situation now with Amazon Echo? What's the question that you would ask that could be improved by integrating a ChatGPT?
Just the natural language, interaction. If you hang out at ChatGPT and you can literally have a naturalistic conversation with it.
Yeah.
You can ask it a question. It will feed you back a sensible answer.
Mm-hmm.
You can then ask a follow-on question and series of follow-on questions that are contextually relevant to your initial inquiry.
Right.
So that whole model, there's a very limited ability of that from the Amazon Echo. They included that a few years ago, but it is so compared to. Sorry, I have a phone ringing here. Let me just silence this. Compared to ChatGPT, the version, the ability that the Amazon Echo has for that follow-on contextual relevancy is like a 0.1 alpha. It's like doesn't even move the needle. Mm-hmm. ChatGPT really changes that. To be able to speak to these devices in a naturalistic language experience, that's exactly what these things need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely something to that, and being able to speak in different language tones, and as far as content creation, write this in the tone of, in a business tone, or in the tone of, Joe Rogan or Bill Maher or something like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's totally transformed our marketing department completely. I mean, that's crazy.